Okay, so this chapter starts off with a rhythm of life for the island boys. It talks about midday barrages the kids see, as well as the idea that they all still work, play, and eat, just like Europeans. It also mentions that the littler boys are known as Lil Uns, as if we didn't know that by now. The Lil Uns mainly play and pick fruit and hang out during the day, trying not to miss their old life much, and barely interacting with the Big Uns. Then, the scene narrows down to three specific Lil Uns: Henry, a distant relative to the Mulberry birthmark boy, Percival, and Johnny, the smallest two boys. As we see this peaceful scene, all of a sudden, bam! Maurice and Roger, two choir boys, come out of the woods and knock over the Little Uns' sandcastles and step on their flowers. While the boys make no protest, Percival does whimper a bit, only because he got sand in his eye. This affects Maurice, who apparently did a similar thing to a kid before and was chastised by an adult. When Maurice hears the whimper, he feels the, quote, unease of wrongdoing, which is a very important part of the book, showing the boys still felt the guidance of their past life despite their newfound freedom. Maurice goes off to swim in the ocean, but Roger keeps watching the boys and eventually follows Henry to a different part of the beach, where Henry finds these weird transparencies, which seem to be some small sort of sea creature. Henry exercises control over these creatures by using a stick to create water channels for them to run through and altering their paths. This display of control the little one makes is contrasted with a display of control of a different kind by Roger. Roger grabs some nearby rocks and throws them at the younger boy, but he throws them to miss. His arm refuses to throw them at the boy because of everything he had been taught back in his old life of not being harmful to younger children. After a few throws, Jack appears and brings Roger over to a group made up of Sam and Eric, the twins, and Bill. Jack shows off his idea to use clay and charcoal to try and conceal his face from the pigs while hunting. After a failed attempt, he successfully makes a creepy mask of paint on his face, which he hid behind and was liberated from shame and self-consciousness, to quote the book. Bill was scared off by this mask, and Jack approached the twins. Then the scene changes to Ralph, Simon, and Piggy and Maurice, who are hanging out by the water. Piggy proposes making a sundial to tell time, and Ralph makes fun of him. After a bit of lazy swimming, excitement ensues. Smoke and a ship are spotted on the horizon, but excitement turns hectic when the boys on the beach realize their signal fire seems to have gone out. They run to the mountain, climbing up, only to find what they knew all along. The fire was out and the watchers were gone. As the ship went out of sight, a new sight enters as a procession of black-capped boys ascend the mountain, with a gutted pig on a stick. They chant the most disturbing thing yet: kill the pig, cut her throat, spill her blood. And so it seems to have been done, as the pig head almost touches the ground. The proud hunters ascend the mountain and meet up with the other boys, only to be immediately chastised by Ralph. Jack and the hunters are too proud and bloodthirsty, recalling their hunt, to realize Ralph's seriousness at first. But then Ralph's voice, in a loud, savage tone, tells them of the missed ship. This is too much for the hunters, and as truth sets in, Jack, in an effort to lash out, punches Piggy in the stomach. When the fat boy tries to talk, Piggy's glasses go flying and one side breaks. Jack makes fun of Piggy and draws a few laughs, changing the mood with the hunters, but Ralph is still furious. So Jack apologizes, thereby making himself seem like a responsible, bigger man. Still unhappy, Ralph tells them to light the fire again. Thus, Ralph asserts his power as chief. Once the new fire is set, the boys cook the pig and eat meat. Jack tries to leave Piggy out, but Simon, in a true Christ-like fashion, gives the fat boy his chunk of meat. The hunters reenact their hunt at the question of Maurice, but Ralph is still nonplussed, and he only remarks that he will call an assembly down on the platform on the beach, ending chapter 4.